today we are joined by a special guest. So we've got another Jess that's joined us. So welcome to our podcast, Jess.
Thank you for having me.
We're really excited to hear all about what you do and what your business is all about. So we'll be really interested if you could maybe give us a bit of an overview of what you're up to on a day-to-day basis and what your business is all about.
Yeah, of course. So day-to-day basis is sourcing properties. So going around doing viewings, speaking to estate agents, putting in offers, and then looking at figures, stacking figures, speaking to relevant people in regards to that. For deals that I've already sourced, it's booking in relevant team members. So surveyor, architect, getting my build team around to do a quote. And then the other side of the business is project management. So I project manage the refurbs. At the moment, they are very stressful. I don't think that will ever change, but that's where I'm at the moment with those. I offer a turnkey service, basically, so acquisition all the way through to management of these projects. Manage solely what I build. Don't do like open market lettings or anything like that. I know that obviously Becky, you do that, but my lettings is for my clients, just because then they have confidence in what I'm building because they know that I'm managing it on the back end. Alongside that, run a social media marketing agency. So I do short form content strategies, and one-to-one coaching for property entrepreneurs within social media. Becky and I have actually already just set up a new business doing one-to-one coaching courses and stuff in social media. So yeah, those are my kind of 3 businesses. You could say there's like 5 in there, but yeah, 3 businesses at the moment. 2 separate.
How did you start? Because you went from sort of marketing and then it kind of went into properties. What was the kind of progression of that?
Yeah, so I've been doing marketing since I was 16. So I started working for a startup company as an intern when I was 16, while I was still doing my GCSEs. It was the kind of the back end of the summer of doing my GCSEs before I went into sixth form, and I wanted to get some work experience. So I did that. And then I ended up setting my own marketing agency up. Well, it wasn't like a limited company. I was a sole trader because I think I was like 17 when I set it up. It was in December 2019, and I was doing social media stuff freelance. I went traveling in 2022, and I just did everything on like Fiverr and Upwork, doing literally logos, presentations, and it funded my whole travel trip. And then I went to university. Was there for literally like 4 or 5 months, hated every second of it. I wanted to leave as soon as I got there, but I tried to persevere. I was doing a graphic design degree, so it kind of tied into like the marketing side of things. Mm-hmm. And then February 2023 went through like a massive change in my life, like some really bad family news, and just overall mental health wasn't good because of being at university. And I was like, right, something needs to change. So dropped out of university. Didn't know what I was going to do. It was either get a job or do a different degree or something like that, or like go into a different type of education. So I put everything I knew together and started the marketing agency. So the graphic design degree that I had learned the first year, honestly, it was just sticking and cutting. I went through like 20 glue sticks in my first year of university. It was ridiculous. I put everything together. Yeah, honestly, like I was like, what is this? I'm paying $9,000 a year to sit here and cut and stick. And my dad like primary school. It was awful. It just added like fuel to the fire of not wanting to be at university. So I started the marketing agency, put everything I knew, put all the results that I'd gained from managing people's accounts and this, that, and the other. And then went on the hunt for clients, kind of fell into like the interior design world, because I was originally looking for graphic design clients, because then I could expand my portfolio. So I didn't have to have that degree. I just had a portfolio. And then I went to, I think it was a Samuel Leeds event. I actually wasn't meant to go to that event. I was in London at the hotel next door and saw like a massive queue, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to join that. Just joined it and went in. They didn't even scan my ticket. And I was like, okay, where am I?
£100 probably. So
one of those crash course days. And I went in and I was like, this is so cool. And I was one of those people, I did run to the back of the room.
yeah.
I did run. And then property just started from there. So that was like December. I started the marketing agency in August, signed, I think, like 2-3 clients in the first couple of months. They were all in property. And then started working with kind of well-known people in property in December 2023, and then started in property officially March 2024. So just over a year now.
So were all your clients in property then, like from the marketing perspective?
Yeah. So one was an HMO developer based in Nottingham. One, well, it was him and his business partner. So he was based in Birmingham and one was based in Nottingham. And then I had an interior design client. She was a small, I'd say interior design, but it's more referred to in our world as staging, but outside it was interior design. I worked with someone who did prints for properties. I worked with a bricklayer. It was really cool. We did ASMR like videos. It was really, really good.
Okay.
And they were all kind of in property, all around that sort of industry. And then when I went to this crash course, I was like, I want to do that. And it was the first time in my life where I'd been like that light bulb moment where, oh my God, this is what I've been looking for. Because I've never known what I wanted to do growing up. I'd always like switched between this, that, dream career, blah, blah, blah. Never really knew. And then property came and I was like, whoa. And I used to stay home from school watching Homes Under the Hammer. My mum told me she always knew that I wasn't sick. I just wanted to watch Homes Under the Hammer.
So what was it that gave you that like light bulb moment when you were at that event?
I think it was having something, I don't know how to describe it, like something that I knew I'd be passionate about and I knew I could do on my own and like build a business from. And I think obviously it was being in the atmosphere of Samuel Lee's, it is quite intense. But I was like, if I can recreate this, I'm already a very driven person. Like I will get what I want, no matter what it takes to get there. And I didn't have any other option. Like I dropped out of university. My highest level of formal qualification was A levels. My dad went to a really, really good university. So telling him I was dropping out of university was a massive thing. And it was like, right, what can I do that not only will put me in a better position this time next year, but also kind of justifies to everyone else why I've dropped out of university. And marketing agency, I still do it obviously, and I enjoy it, but having a physical asset is so important. And when I turned 18, like I spent so much money on all these books, like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all these sort of things, like self-development things. And everyone around me was spending their like 18th birthday money on, I think we went to Selfridges and they bought like a Dior ring. I remember a Dior ring. And then I went to Waterstones and got these books. And it was like, okay, so I've always kind of had that mindset of there is something bigger. So when that property event came around and I was like, oh, this is actually something that interests me more than anything else has really interested me before. And also there's so many different routes you can take in property that I feel like you'd always be able to be creative, which is obviously what I am, a creative person. So yeah.
So did you know straight away you were going to go into the kind of the property sourcing side of things?
Not straight away. No, I wanted to run luxury rent to rents. So that was for the first like month and a half. That's what I wanted to do. I did actually secure like a few and went on loads of viewings and was really good at it. But I ended up not going through with any of it. And I think it was this like internal doubt. I was like, I don't really know if I believe that this will work. And I think being new as well, everyone's always celebrates those people that sell like so many deals, X amounts of deals in a month, but rent to rents, there's something within me that I'm like that. How can you tell someone it's going to make this amount per month? Like it didn't really align with me. And like I had really, really strong on like gut feeling and like alignment, and something didn't feel right.
Also, you're taking that commitment on, aren't you? It's like
exactly. And at that time, like I'd spent all my money. Well, I blew majority of my savings when I was at university. I won't lie. That's something that I do regret. When I was doing my tax return from university year last year, I was like, whoa. whoa, like so much money on Domino's pizza and McDonald's. It's a little
It's about
ridiculous.
time.
Yeah, but it's fine. Make it back. It is what it is. I'll just never tell my parents that how much money I spent. How are you today? Yeah, I'm fine. Just spent like 100 quid on Domino's. I'm good. But yeah, it was sorry, what was the question? I go off on all these random things.
You were doing rent to rent, or your idea was rent to
Yes.
rent, and then it developed from there.
Yeah. Riddle with ADHD I am, so everything goes off on a tangent. So yeah, I'd secured these deals and I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. And then I started working with a client who was buying properties himself, and he was like, why don't you source me something? Like, you see what I do on a day-to-day basis, you're with me 4 times a month filming my content, why don't you, I'll teach you, why don't you source the deal for me? And that was like a massive turning point, because it was like, okay, like someone's willing to, I'd always spent some money on education, but someone was willing to kind of show me the ropes. And I'll always be grateful for that, because I did source my first deal for him. And then it enabled me to actually source a 6-bed, 6-ensuite HMO as my first deal, which is a little bit, if you think about it, that's a bit crazy, because you go from doing nothing to that, and HMOs are a lot more complex. But I think by doing that, that also transitioned into just sourcing HMOs, which is now pretty much what I do. I do flips as well, but known for doing HMOs. So yeah, it all made it like the path was kind of laid out for me, like everything kind of aligned and all these things were falling into place. So that's kind of how I got started in the sourcing side of things. But the rent to rents, I just didn't have, my heart wasn't in it. So I was like, I can't justify it. And then by the time like I decided that, they were gone. So I was like, you know what, it is what it is. So
yeah, I think in property, you need to commit and really give 110%. Otherwise, you may as well kind of not bother, because someone's going to get in there quicker, and you need to be really set on what you're going to do. So
yeah,
definitely gut feeling 100%. So for anyone that doesn't know, what is the process with property sourcing? If someone was to come to you and say, okay, I want you to source property, what is your kind of process with that?
So first of all, have a call, talk about what their expectations are, what their budget is, because the worst thing that can happen is someone has seen something on social media, they want an all money out deal, and they have 50k, and they come to you and they're like, I want this. Like, having a call and setting expectations is so key as a sourcer. And I think a lot of people as well, which gives sourcing a bad name, is they'll tell anyone that they can find anything, and that's not true. It doesn't happen. So yeah, if a client was to come to me and they were like, I've got 200k and I want a turnkey HMO, I'd be like, yep, spot on, can do that. And then they would be onboarded onto my system, take upfront bespoke sourcing fee, just because I have a lot of clients, and some people aren't serious. They'll tell you they're going to invest, and majority of the time they won't. And then I'll go out, find their deal, I will stack it, send it to them in a deal pack, I'll secure it, offer accepted, then using my team, so solicitor, broker, accountant, architect, surveyor, and build team, we'll do all of that. Basically, all they have to do is like sign some documents when it comes to conveyancing, everything's sorted. And then project management, same thing, completely turnkey. They can be involved as much as they want. But the sourcing side of things is pretty simple, but it's all about managing expectations.
How do you find the property sourcing in general? Because obviously it's not the easiest area of property to be in, because obviously things fall through all the time. So how do you find it from a personal perspective?
It's very, very cutthroat, and agents are clocking onto it more, which I think is a good thing, because they'll be able to tell who's good and who's bad. But also, if they've been burnt, it's quite hard for me to build a relationship with them unless I've bought something through them. But then I can't buy something through them because they don't trust me. So it's like, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because I'll go and put in an offer, and then I'll go, right, secure it, get the client, etc. Then as soon as I send them the client's details, they know I'm a sourcer straight away. If that falls out of bed for some reason, and they fall out of bed, something comes up on the survey, vendor pulls out, they didn't have enough finance, or the bill quote comes in slightly higher, it happens. But because I'm a sourcer, the problem always, and the responsibility always falls onto me.
Yeah.
So a couple of relationships with estate agents have actually been turned a little bit sour, because something's happened, like for example, one back in August, the vendor was really, really keen to move very quickly. And that's fair enough. She wanted out of this house. It was her mother's house and she just wanted to be gone, basically. And we went round, I did the viewing with the investor, everything was sweet. And then suddenly she was like, right, no more communication through the estate agents. We're only going through solicitors. And at that point, we hadn't got a full build quote. So the client wasn't prepared to go through solicitors yet until they knew exactly what the quote was going to come out at. So they pulled out of the deal, but that wrecked my relationship with the estate agent. So like literally 2 weeks ago, I called this estate agent. I was like, I'd like to book a viewing. She was like, no, we don't work with sources. And I was like, I'd like to book a viewing. She was like, no, Jess, we don't work with you. And I was like, right, okay. But see, like that wasn't my fault. That was the vendor was being really difficult and wouldn't do anything that wasn't through solicitors because she wanted it to go through. So yeah, it's difficult. It is. And other sources give sourcing a bad name by putting in really high offers and then pulling out, or putting in high offers and then not having an investor, and they go, yeah, my business partner is away, or blah blah blah, just the same old story. And then of course estate agents don't trust sources, so it's really difficult. But I have my safe estate agents now, so the ones that I've bought through that know that I'm good and know that I get it through quickly and know I don't mess around. If I make an offer, I'm going to buy the property, because the way that I have it with my clients is I'll tell them all the details. I'll go, right, this is the max that we can offer. If we get it for this price, are you happy? They go, yes or no. Then I'll go in, make the full and final offer. If it doesn't get accepted, it's fine. But if it does, we know we're buying it. And also my build quotes are much more accurate than they were last year. So I can confidently quote them rather than having to get a builder come in before conveyancing starts, after offers being accepted. So yeah, it is difficult. It's about building those relationships, Jess.
Sorry, I just need to blow in.
It's about building those relationships.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just gonna carry on. I think it's good that you're honest as well with clients on that first call, because the other thing that sources get a bad rep for is over promising and then under delivering.
Yeah.
And obviously then there are so many people like that, and I think it's because it's property sourcing or deal sourcing is sold as like this intro level, when actually it's a lot harder.
It's way harder than intro level.
It's not this like, beginner step to property. It's a way of generating cash flow from property, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people wouldn't need deal sources or property sources.
Exactly. And I think it is sold as this entry level thing. But in my first year of deal sourcing, I sourced, well, until December of 2024, I'd only sourced 2 deals. And then since December 2024 to now, I've done over 20 more. But those first like 7-8 months, you have to learn the ropes. And that first one was a little bit of a fluke, I would say, because the guy that I sourced it for kind of gave me all the things that I needed to know. Like all I needed to do was look on Rightmove. Like it wasn't that difficult. But now they're a lot more difficult. Like it's knowing like certain elements and this, that, and the other. And especially because I'm project managing it, it's really difficult. If I see something that I know won't work, a lot of sources will just brush that off because they'll go, well, they can deal with that when they buy the property. But because I'm project managing it and then managing it on the back end, I can't brush that off. I can't go, no, that won't work, but let's just hide it, because I'm like the face of the project from start to end, and then continuous for the next like 20-25 years. So do you know what I mean? Like I can't just brush things off. So yeah, sourcing isn't an entry level thing. It's an entry level thing, rent to rents. I agree with that 100%, because rent to rents are easy. If anyone says it is difficult to find a rent to rent, I was helping someone this morning on a Zoom call. I found 3 rent to rents in the space of half an hour, and I haven't done rent to rents in a year. So rent to rents easy, but purchases, especially HMOs, so difficult. And every sourcer thinks that they can do them, but they don't even know what space, size, amenities and dash standards are. And it's like, how can you source an HMO?
But I think it all comes down to also these courses, these quick courses. Like, let's make money quickly.
Get rich overnight.
Yeah.
Millionaire in a year.
And that's why it's also given sources a bad name as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's just so many people who want to get into it and they think that it's a quick way of making money.
Yeah. We see online like all these people going from like £0 to £10,000 a month.
Oh, £10,000 a month, that's the golden number, isn't it? Yeah.
That number somehow like triggers some response. It's like back in I was talking about £97 or the 7 on something. It's like a psychological response. But £10,000 is this.
Landlords, are you tired of the stress that comes with managing your rental properties? At Amehurst Lettings, we make property investment as passive as possible. We're a family-run property management company built by property investors for property investors. With over 30 years of experience in the property industry, we know what it takes to keep your property performing at its best. We offer a fully hands-off service for landlords within Nottinghamshire, Leicestershire and Lincolnshire. Whether you own single lets or HMOs, we handle everything. Plus, we keep a close eye on the rental market to make sure your property income is staying competitive. So if you're looking for a team to manage your properties while you enjoy stress-free returns, get in touch today. Visit amehurstlettings.co.uk to find out more.
Like everyone wants to get there, and you see these people, these like 1 in 100 that can go from £0 to £10,000 a month selling deals. But also, would you rather get somewhere really, really fast and then not be able to sustain it, or would you rather get there really slow and it be sustainable? Because I know I haven't made £10,000 a month yet.
No.
And I've been doing this for a year. And if people go, oh, I can do that in like a month, first month of doing it, right, let's see in 4 or 5 years if you're still here, mate. Let's be honest.
So everyone's question, I think, when it comes to sourcing properties is off-market deals. That's quite a common theme. That seems to be, again, like the golden word. So how do you go about that? Because, obviously you need to build good relationships with estate agents and maintain that so that you're like first point of contact when something comes up that is potentially off-market. But is there any other ways that you go about it?
So, every month I do about 30,000 steps around Nottingham, delivering, I can show you actually on the call because I've got them here, delivering direct to vendor letters. So, oh my God, sorry, I've got like thousands of them. These, like we buy house cash with my business number on. And I'll just literally walk around because I know the streets now and I know the areas and I know the postcodes that work. I don't actually trust anyone else to do it. I used to get like students to do it and pay them £10 an hour, but it just didn't work because they'd either throw them in the bin or they just would put them in the wrong types of houses. So now like I'll take like a Saturday or a Sunday and I'll walk around. I have been chased once doing it. Someone chased me down the street. Yeah, she opened her door. She went, "Stop paying these through!" Then started like chasing me. And I was like, oh my god! She was running. I was like, oh my god, get 5k in right now because I'm gonna run. It was so scary. And she had a dog, and I was like, this is not for me. I know. So now I'll do it like I'll try get out on a Sunday morning like really early before anyone wakes up. So that no chase me. And obviously like not putting them through doors that say we do not buy or sell. Like don't take them in. And if a property looks pristine condition, it's probably not going to be something that they're going to want to sell or for a price that we can offer to pay. So it's being creative. Relationships with estate agents are key. In all honesty, I've probably only ever received 2 off-market deals from an estate agent, and neither of them went through. So I think off-market deals with estate agents is something that's really glamorized on social media, but it's actually not that common. I think at the start, I think maybe as you progress your journey, if you've been in property for like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, because you bought hundreds of properties or tens of properties through estate agents. But at the start, I don't know. Maybe estate agents just don't like
it, don't they? So they don't want to sort of pin it down to one person without exploring what the options are. So
Exactly. But it comes a time, like I've got an estate agent that I've bought, well, this week we've done, in the past week we've done 3 through this estate agent and should be 4 tomorrow morning. So hopefully that will they're one of the biggest agents in this area as well. So they take about 85% of the stock. which is ridiculous, and it's quite a large area. So hopefully they'll start recognizing that I do move fast and things like that. So hopefully that will come with off-market deals. But yeah, it does take time. It's not as simple as everyone makes out. You can't just walk into a estate agency and give them your business card and go, send me off-market deals, because they don't know you, they don't trust you.
Exactly. Yeah, you've got to build up that rapport, and that takes time. You can't speed up that process.
Yeah.
How do you think your sort of social media marketing background has impacted your journey into property?
I think it's massively helped, because I've been able to, not that I have a big brand, but I've been able to start building a personal brand that has bought me majority of my clients. So probably like 90% of my clients are inbound. So they'll reach out to me, they'll say that they followed me on social media for a while, or I've connected with them on LinkedIn, they want to have a call. So they see the posts, they see the day-to-day, they see that I'm working hard, they see that I'm doing what I say I do. There's social proof, like I'm on site. You can see like on my Instagram that I'm on site doing stuff. And it's been, huge part of that has helped grow my business to where it is, especially in the space of just over a year.
Which platform do you think is best for your business?
I think at the start it was Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
gaining some traction, connecting with other people within the industry, and kind of building that network. But now for clients, it's LinkedIn.
Yeah.
100%. The caliber of person that I want to work with me is on LinkedIn, not Instagram.
Yeah.
Not saying you won't, like, I have had people through Instagram. Like, one of my biggest clients is through Instagram. She messaged me, but LinkedIn now is the preferred choice of social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you go about knowing like who your target audience is to know how to reach those people?
So at the start, it was kind of just post whatever and like hope for the best. But now, like, we do targeted outreach. So connecting with people that I can see are buying properties, I can see have an interest in properties, that are potentially my exact avatar, which is time poor, cash rich investors. So people that work in cities, so London, Manchester, Birmingham, even Nottingham, and they have the cash there, but they don't have the knowledge and they don't have the time. So connecting with them, and just kind of anyone I come across, speaking to them, because even if you don't feel like they're going to benefit you in any way, or they're like connecting with them is going to bring you a client, you never know who they know.
That's it.
So
yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously we work together on social media, so it's a given that we both understand the like how much it can push your business. But for people that are sort of struggling with like putting themselves out there or understanding even like what their personal brand is, because obviously like we say all the time, everyone's got a personal brand because you're your own person and you're unique to everyone else. But I suppose it's knowing what you put out of yourself without being, I suppose, too personal, but enough so that people feel that connection and being different from everyone else as well, and not kind of copying anything.
Yeah.
How would you suggest that people go about having their own identity?
It's a really difficult one, because that you have to have like a balance, and you, like you just said, it can't be too personal, because otherwise this is a personal account, it's not a business account. So it's like the 80-20 rule. 80% of what you show online is to do with business, whether it's a networking event, whether it's you on site, whether it's you searching for deals on viewings, etc. Then 20% is you as a person, so your family, what you do, your hobbies, etc. Because people need to know that you're a real person. You can't just connect with someone on a deeper level if you're just business. People are people at the end of the day, and you can speak to someone and be all formal, but they're still a person. So it's hard, because I say put your personal life out there, but then you have to be quite reserved. It's quite difficult. Ask me a difficult question.
Isn't it? Yeah. It's like if you've got that side to you that's maybe very, I don't want to say unprofessional, but if your personal time is spent getting drunk like in a club, that's not going to be on your business account trying to attract
on your business account.
So there's nothing wrong with that as long as you still turn up professional when it is work.
Exactly.
But you also don't want to showcase that to that demographic of people.
Exactly. You've got to kind of always have your head screwed on when it comes to your business account. And if you were an investor, what would you want to see? So like you have to think about different things. So it was something that was brought up to me the other day actually, is if you work with Muslim investors and you post that you're constantly drinking alcohol, it's actually offensive to their culture. And they are less likely to want to work with you. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but you've got to think about it like that. If you're constantly posting that you're having a beer or you're having a drink, you're having a glass of wine, yes, for you that's normal, and for 99% of people that's normal, but for some people that's could be deemed offensive. So you have to think about things in different ways. Like things about, I think, showing your life in terms of how you are as a person outside of your business, who runs the business, is so key. So if you go to the gym, things that impact your daily life and who you are as a business owner and an entrepreneur, they're really good to show because it shows your personality outside of business. But like you said, if you get drunk in a club on a Saturday night, don't show that. There's nothing wrong with it, but people can't resonate with that. People can't connect with you on that because majority of the people aren't doing that. So it just makes you look stupid because you just look like you're incompetent.
Yeah, I think it's about showing enough so that you can put your values across.
Yeah.
Without being so transparent that, you know, everyone's got that non-professional side, which is absolutely normal. But like you say, it doesn't need to be on your business account.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you make a joke here and there, like there's nothing wrong with that. God knows I've done that so many times and people don't get it and they think I'm just being weird, but I'm trying to be funny. And then, yeah, you need to have some sort of like humor because if you're a robot, people can't connect with you, but also don't be too much. Like I did a free social media call, like literally back end of last year. And someone asked me, can I speak like a roadman? And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, oh, well, I say this, that, and the other, and I swear. And I was like, well, no, you can't. Like, you can be yourself, but don't do that because you won't attract the sort of people that you should be working with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it depends what level you're at as well, I think. Like, you know, if you're just starting out and you're trying to build that credibility, you can't get away with, like you say, swearing all the time or using slang and things like that, especially when you're trying to attract an audience that is of a certain age or maybe they live in a certain area. You know that they're going to be of a certain class, let's just say, that doesn't understand what you're trying to say. And it sort of lowers the credibility. But I think there's definitely the people that are already established in property that have gained that respect and that credibility, that them swearing in a video, it doesn't deter from that.
Yeah, because people know their character anyway outside of that. But if you're building a brand and people are getting to know you, then you can't be like that.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a hype now about the no bullshit property person, and that's great. But there is a level of you can be direct without, you know, being
offending people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. What would you say to someone that is just starting out that claims that they've got nothing to post about and they don't have anything property related to post about? What's your advice to help them?
So I would say that that's bullshit because if they're in property and they're learning, not that they have to be doing anything, they're still learning. That's something to document. When I was learning, I was documenting every single thing I did, what training courses I was watching, what YouTube videos I was watching, booking and viewings, even though I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, speaking to estate agents, recording everything. You have, even if that's another thing as well. Like the combination of personal and business, everyone has a skill before they get into business, right? So I was a graphic designer, I did marketing, so I brought that into business. So some of my first videos on Instagram are me giving advice to people within the property industry and how they can level up their social media. And that's how I started to build a following, like a few followers, because I was giving people tips and providing value. So even if they aren't in property, they still have value to provide. And I think it really, really does grind my gears when people go, oh, well, I've, like, for example, the other day, like someone, not to name names, but someone was like, oh, I've got an investment with someone, but I'm not doing anything in property. But you are, because you've got an investment. So that's the first step. Like, document that, talk about how much you've invested, what you've invested in, what return you're getting, what you've learned from doing this, like how you found that person. Like, that's 5 videos, 5 talking points just in one, just of 10 seconds of thinking about it. So I think people saying that they don't have anything to post, they're either not creative and they're not thinking outside the box, which you can't be like that if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be, and they're just being lazy.
Yeah. I think some of it comes down to confidence as well, in that they don't want, again, it's that imposter syndrome side of things where you're
overthinking the whole situation.
Yeah, because I suppose you compare, don't you? You go on social media, and especially if you're consuming a lot, which I suppose is good for inspiration, but then on the other hand, you're also seeing everyone's highlights.
Yes.
Throughout the time.
Social media is a highlight reel at the end of the day.
Yeah. Do you ever struggle with your mental health when it comes to social media, in terms of, I know I definitely get bogged down sometimes seeing all these success stories, and if you are going through a bit of a rough patch in business, it can be,
it's easy to compare, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not that you're not happy for people, but sometimes you feel like, oh, why is it going right not that it is going right for everyone else, but it looks like it is. Do you ever get that?
So I think I did at the start, definitely, because I was comparing myself, and at the end of the day, comparison is literally the thief of joy. And I was comparing with people that I'd already like seen do stuff, but I expected to be where they were at that point, if that makes sense. So people like started the same time as people that were selling loads of deals, but also at the end of the day, they'll only ever show the positives. So probably 50% of those deals fell out of bed, but they'd never show that on social media. So it is really, really, really difficult. And I think I still even find myself now sometimes comparing myself to someone, and I'm like, how are they doing this? But also it's only like a split second now, because I'm like, well, actually I'm on my own path. I'm on my own journey, and I've already built something that is only going to snowball, and they don't have what I have.
Yeah.
But similarly, they probably don't want what I have. And if I think about it, I probably don't want what they have. So yeah, it's something that I've learned, and I think with like mindset shifts as well, to snap out of it, because it's actually not reality. It is just a highlight reel.
Yeah, I think as you get busier as well, you
never check social media ever.
No, like you put content out there, but this isn't a good thing to anyone that wants advice on social media. But I am guilty of posting and then ghosting. So I'll just post something that's scheduled, but I'll never go on the app. And then I'll go on there and I've got messages that I've not responded to, or comments, and I've done enough engagement. And again, it's finding that balance between, you also need to run the business in the first place that you're posting about.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially when, like for me, for example, we've not started outsourcing much yet. So I don't have someone to pass on the social media and the marketing side of things to, which is why then I I guess, shared the roles with my mum in business to be like, okay, you take a little bit more of the property side of things and I'll take more of the marketing side of things, because generational gaps, she's not a whiz on yeah. A common question as well I get asked is such a generic question, but I'm interested to see what your response is. What's the best content type to convert?
So it depends on the platform. So Instagram is definitely reels and photo carousels, so like swipes if anyone doesn't know what that is, multiple photos in one. And then LinkedIn is definitely copyright, so posts with a hook at the top, so something controversial, something that you know is going to be a good story. They work really, really well because on LinkedIn you have to click to see the rest. And graphics on LinkedIn work really, really well. YouTube, long form content, so videos over 10 minutes, 15 minutes long, they convert really, really well. Anything more kind of has to be like a documentary storytelling style type of video because people will get bored. Threads, short little quotes, things that have happened, same with Twitter. They don't really convert that well. Threads, I think more now because they're being pushed through Instagram as well. But at the beginning, they were awful. And yeah, I think that's all of them. Facebook is similar to Instagram. You just link them up and they post the same. So
yeah. Have you had much success on YouTube at all? Because I know you posted a bit, but is it kind of, you've not really focused on that as much, or?
In all honesty, I remember to film, but it's the editing. Like, even though I outsource to an editor, it's all the little edits that I have to make and this, that, and the other, and then uploading it and doing this, that. I just don't have the time. And it's something that I need to get better at because I said that this year was going to be like consistent on YouTube at least twice a month. But life takes over and business takes over and YouTube content isn't a priority. So
yeah, I was going to say, I mean, editing reels is, I suppose when you're doing it often, you can sort of churn them out pretty quickly, but as soon as it's a long form video, you still got to keep people's attention for that, however long it is, 10 minutes or whatever,
exactly.
which is quite a long time to keep someone's attention for, especially now everyone's scrolls within like 3 seconds.
Yeah, so I can do a reel in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but a YouTube video will take
me that good, but
yeah.
Do you use a lot of AI as well, or?
Yeah. So I use AI to help with content strategy and scripts based off of like my personality type. It really, really helps my content be quite unique. And I use AI to help with prompts for LinkedIn posts. I used to let it write my LinkedIn posts, but it's so obvious it's written by LinkedIn. So now I just will do less, and quality over quantity, 100%, especially when you have an actual business. When you're starting, I think post every single day. Doesn't really matter what you're posting, but as soon as you have like an established business, quality. Even if you can post every day, that's really, really good, but it has to be quality posts.
Yeah. Definitely. Interesting. Is there anything else you'd like to ask? I've covered everything.
You have covered a lot, but I'm also trying to deal with the fact that my nose is just about to gush, so that's probably why I'm not on top form. So I do apologise.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure you've not got any burning questions.
I suppose, what's one of your biggest challenges that you face on a day-to-day basis that's reoccurring? I know there's lots of challenges, but
just in life?
What is one of your biggest challenges with what you're doing?
I wish I could say exactly what I want to say, but I can't because it would end up in a phone call. Dealing with other people don't necessarily understand or have the patience to see your vision. So I work with a lot of people, understandably, in different industries, and some are more willing and patient than others are. And I think especially being still at pretty much the start of my journey, there's a lot that I've needed to learn, and I've had a lot of people that are very willing to help and willing to give me opportunities, which is like, they don't have to do that, but they have. But I've also I've worked with people that have not even given me the benefit of the doubt. And it's really, really hard to work with people that aren't willing to even sit and have a conversation about something and just automatically go into argument mode. And it's really hard to. And I'm someone who, I'm not defensive, but I think in this industry you have to be quite, you have to stand up for yourself. So I will stand up for myself, and a lot of people don't like that, especially men. being a woman who stands up for themselves and will not let someone speak to them the way that they speak to other people.
Yeah.
So that's probably my most difficult thing, is dealing with people who cannot be very nice at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Growing a thick skin.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Is there anything that you want to share that we've not already covered?
No, I think you've covered everything.
Great. Done a good job then, haven't I?
Jess just sat there in silence, like, yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to survive.
I literally, it's just I don't want to make noises on this podcast. So if I don't talk, it means I'm not going to sniffle. But we do want to ask you a quick question before we leave this wonderful podcast.
Yeah.
So, you could ask a question this week.
You struggling?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could leave our listeners with one key piece of advice or insight from your journey, what would it be?
Ooh. Don't rush. Make sure you're getting it right. Don't rush. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can make good money very quickly in property, but there's making good money and then there's making bad money. And if it hinders your reputation or it affects your reputation and you're only in it for the short run, that's fine. Like, go make your quick buck and then skedaddle off. But if you seriously want to build a long-term business and something that you'll probably pass down to your children, is be patient and don't rush. It would be so much better if you made next to nothing in your first few years of your business than trying to make loads of money and doing it the wrong way. Because as soon as someone has a bad taste about you in their mouth, that's it.
100%. Completely agree. And for anyone who wants to work with you and wants to find you, where can they find you on social media or wherever?
So it's Jess Develops on Instagram, Jessica Cleary on LinkedIn, and my phone number is 0115 64 83402.
Wonderful.
That was because I actually didn't know what the number was. So.
Cool.
But yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you, Jess.
We're going to wrap it up. But we'll be back next week. Thank you so much.